Year 10 English referencing. As part of your persuasive writing piece in semester 1, you need to include a referencing page. So within your essay or within your comment or editorial, whatever form of writing you use, you must demonstrate research, and in order to do that correctly, you must reference the quotes that you use. So this is simply going to go through how to do that. There is only 3 slides here, and I'm just going to go through each part of them. So if we look at in-text referencing, you must include the reference in your text. There are 2 ways to do this. Both are correct, and you should try and use both within your writing. So the first thing is that if you want to say the person's name in your response, you write their last name only, then the quote, and then the year of the publication in brackets. So it looks something like this. Just as Reynolds, 2016, argues, despite being a biological fact, being gay has become a political debate, clearly divided along political party lines. So we can see that we have Reynolds' name first right here, followed by the date of the publication. So in your actual bibliography or your reference page, then the person reading your article could go and find just which Reynolds article you are talking about. The second way to do it is this way here. If you want to use the quote, but you don't want the author's name, you use the quote, then you open a bracket, you put the author's last name, the year, and you close the bracket. For example, as many as 76% of Australians don't want any kind of debate on marriage equality. They just think it should happen. Reynolds, 2016. Technically, there should also be a comma after Reynolds. Okay. So now, what does your referencing page look like? So once you've finished your piece of writing, your essay or your editorial or whatever it is that you're writing, you need to do a reference or bibliography page. Now we're using Harvard referencing, and this does say for the purposes of year 11, let's see if I can change that to year 10. We're going to use the Harvard referencing system. And you can find lots of information on this online, and let's just change this. You can clearly see that this is what you're going to be using next year as well. So you must provide a correctly formatted reference page. You would have all used the internet for your references, so that's just me guessing. So we'll focus on how to reference a website. You need to know the subject area and course. Well, each subject area and course will have a style guide. So for the purposes of Year 10 English, we'll use Harvard. Later on, if you continue your studies, you'll find that there are like the Oxford style, the APA style. Depending on your institution, you'll need to know what referencing style you're going to use. For Harvard, if we're referencing a website, this is what we do. We do the author's last name, comma, first initial, year article published, comma, title of article, date, comma, name, host of website, if there is one, date viewed, comma, open bracket, URL, close bracket. So it ends up looking like this. Cook, comma, H, 2016, comma, ditch the plebiscite Australia, comma, Huffington Post, 30th of August, comma, viewed 3rd of September 2016, comma, your little angle bracket, the website, close angle, other angle bracket. So for more detailed information on this referencing, you can use the website below and then click on the Harvard one. All references need to be in order by alphabetical order by author's last name. So it is really important that you do know the author's last name, even in this area, because if you don't, then there's a question mark about how valid is the research? Who is it saying this, and what right do they have to say it? So this is really, really important. The other thing to keep in mind is that the moment you mention a statistic in any kind of persuasive essay or persuasive speech, you need to say where it came from. Now, this is just, we've said that there needs to be an author's last name, but if you're referencing, say, the Australian Bureau of Statistics, then there may not be an author there. So if you're saying something like there are 24 million people in Australia, and that came from the Australian Bureau of Statistics, that stat is actually wrong, by the way, then you should, we're going to assume that the Australian Bureau of Statistics are the people that do the census, so it will be okay. please check with your teacher if you have something that you want to reference but you're not quite sure how to. Bring the articles in, make sure you have the website site, something, and ask your teacher and they can have a look at it.